Welcome back to New Little Life. I am thrilled today to be talking with Shelley Harris. She has become a wonderful client and good friend at this point because we've been working together for, what is it, almost a year now, Shelley?
Yeah,
It's been
yeah,
a
we we're
while,
we're
yeah.
yeah, we're short. We're short about a month. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is going to be fun because she's going to get to tell you about her story. And I've been able to be there for a lot of it, which is also a really cool thing for me. So we'll just start out by just asking Shelly some questions. Let's get to know you, Shelly, and see where you're coming from, and we'll just see where this conversation takes us. So tell me a little bit about yourself, your little guy, your family. Like start back at the beginning.
All right. Well, I am Shelley Harris. I am a mother, wife, and entrepreneur. Um, I have been married 6 years as of the 21st. We made it.
Happy anniversary.
Thank
Yes.
you. We have a 13-month-old. I don't know. I don't do that whole month thing. I have
I
a
think he's
one-year-old.
13 months. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's 13 months. I don't know. I got a
Yeah.
1-year-old. He is a joy. Um, it took 18 months. We did not have natural. We did IUI. That's how we conceived Dash. We did IUI, and it was an 18-month struggle, but he was here. And I think for us, even being in that moment, it was still like, I see you're pregnant, but are you sure? I don't know. I keep getting kicked randomly, so I'm sure there's something going on.
Yeah.
It wasn't real for us um, until he was here. But then it became real when we realized he was a boy at our gender reveal photo shoot, but then unreal when we were told we were back at square one because I could possibly die. We were going to have a home birth. I wanted a home birth. I had a birth team. I wanted it in my house. I was ready. I knew what I wanted. And I went to a checkup and my iron was low, which was weird because it had never been that way. Went home, fine. I threw up for 2.5 hours straight. Went to the hospital. They sent me through every test and found something on my kidneys. Couldn't tell me what it was, but no doctor would touch me at that point. You're pregnant. We can't go in there. We can't look. We
Yeah.
can't see. There's nothing we can do. So my home birth went to a hospital. And my home birth doula or my home birth midwife concern was if you bleed, I can't see that. I need you in a hospital. So here we are at 34 weeks. My plan of this beautiful home birth and labor is now in a hospital. And as a Black woman, I am definitely afraid of hospitals. The mortality rate for Black women in a hospital is too high. So I am at this point like, oh, I'm finna die. I am about to die. My life is coming to an end. I started to prepare for death um, because I'm gonna have this child, but I'm leaving, and it's okay. I put myself through a lot of mental anguish to make sure that my husband and my child would be okay without me. And we went into the hospital. Um, but I had the best delivery. Don't get me wrong, it was 18 long hours, but it was the best delivery. I had exactly what I wanted, but not at home. So the hospital I birthed at is a midwife friendly hospital. So I birthed that way. I walked, I squatted, I sat, I turned, I twisted. I was in the shower, I was in the pool. I yelled, cussed, and screamed. In 18 hours, I had Dash and no idea how to be a mother.
I know that's a story. That's just even getting there. Like, and then more struggles. Like it just, you had such a long road even
Yep,
getting to the beginning of the road,
yep,
which is a lot of women's story too.
yep.
So, okay, so feeding this baby. Tell me what that was like.
So in the hospital, he latched immediately. Put him on my breast, he latched. He did not latch again after that first feed. He wouldn't do it. I couldn't, we were prepared for it, having PCOS. So I had donor milk on hand, but he wouldn't do it. So of course, having a baby that I've carried for 9 months and I want to breastfeed and he won't latch. And I can't, and because he came out with no problem, I can't continue to get donor milk. Um, and I'm anti formula. So what am I going to do? cry for the first 24 hours of life is what I did. I just cried. My husband actually came home because I bought a nipple shield,
Mhm.
and he brought it back to the hospital. Put it on, no problems. Okay, cool. It's happening. He's not latched to me, but it's happening. Well, he's not gaining weight. So he's feeding, but he's not gaining. Of course, we suspect most babies lose weight after getting here, but mine dropped a whole pound. So from 713 to 69, five
Yeah,
days later.
too much. Yeah. Mhm.
Exactly. Concerns. I didn't have a pediatrician set up. So here I am in a frenzy trying to find one. Found one, and I found my lactation coach first, who was the sister of a girl I went to church with, and
Mm.
she was connected to a doctor. So perfect match, great. But his weight, and he's not gaining.
Yeah.
So this became my issue. He is not gaining weight. The nipple shield I had was in the shape of a bottle, but not an actual nipple. So they were like, the concern is you're forming his mouth to want to take a bottle and not your nipple. So we switched nipple shields. But he never latched to me. I think in his life he had only did it 3 times, if I remember correctly. Um, the first night he was born, one random night the nipple shield fell off and I didn't realize it, and then one day he just kind of was there and was like, "Ooh," but it just wasn't happening. So at that point, I started listening to what needs to happen. Just tell me what to do. And as new parents, we were married at this point 5 years, 4 years. We had celebrated our 5th year that October. He was born that September. We are in hell. I can laugh about it now. It was not
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. It's not fun. Mm-mm.
Oh God, it was hell. It was him having to go to work because there's no such thing as paternity leave, me on maternity leave trying to figure it out, us having no family here. Um, I don't know my left from my right, feeding every 2 hours, pumping, latching. Oh God. Yeah, as I look back, I can tell y'all. Keep going though.
Yeah. Keep going. So if I remember right, you saw quite a few lactation consultants,
Mhm.
pediatricians that kind of gave you
So
some hard stuff too.
I went through 1, 2, 3, 4 lactation before I got to you.
Mhm.
Um, the lactation I started with, who was connected to the doctor, she started, my son then started to throw up. Now he's throwing up. So now he's on medication to control his vomiting. So he was on medication, but he's still not gaining weight. We're feeding, still not gaining weight. But now at this point, I'm having to pump because I can't keep up with the latch. I'm pumping and I'm latching and I'm pump here, latch there, switch back and forth. When he's not pumping, when he's not eating, I'm pumping. It was, and I think they cut him down from every 3 hours to like every hour and a half feeding. So it was like, as soon as he's, and my son was like feeding for an hour. So it's like, he just got finished. Now I have to pump. Okay. So I was working with her, but she was good on latching, but not pumping. And then my latch shield was a 22, 24. So, I mean, it was getting the job done, but it was hurting. Um, and then my flange was a flange, the same thing, 22, 24, getting the job done, but in pain. Um, met, went on a group on Facebook, asked for help in this group I'm in. I think it's Black Moms Feed or something. Hey, I need help with
Yeah.
pumping. And was told, reach out to these people. I reached out. I met with the woman. She gave me what sounded like a solid plan. Um, it's your pump, which at the time I was using the Medela Freestyle. Um, and she told me, it's your pump. Based on what you're telling me, you don't have the ability to move the rhythm. you can change the suction, but you can't change anything else. So you can make it suction harder, but not, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but
The
not
cycle
the
speed, like how many
cycle
times
speed.
it's
Yes,
doing it per minute.
exactly.
Yeah. Hmm.
So it's your pump. Cool. Which pump do you recommend? Which one did I have? The Spectra, the blue one,
Yeah, the
2S.
one, Spectra one. Hmm.
Okay. Then no, it was pink because I could move with it. I wasn't plugged into a wall. Maybe it
Yeah,
was pink.
yeah. Hmm.
Either way. But got it. Went to get it actually, and then I saw Spectra had put out a new one with a dual motor. So I reached back out to her. Is there a reason you said this Spectra versus this one? Because for me, it was important to be able to move. I knew I was going back to work.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, that was the biggest thing. I didn't really understand the rhythm and the changing. For me, it was I need to be able to move. Um, is there a reason you said this one and not this one? And I basically got told if you want to go over pumps, we need to schedule another appointment. At $200 an appointment to just tell me why you said one versus another? Okay. So in the meantime, I was still in pain. So it was like, okay, I understand the rhythm, but why do my breast hurt? So I reached out to someone else who was specializes in pumping. Hey, I met with this person. They told me to get the Spectra, but I don't understand why and how that's going to help me with my pain. We had a conversation. Oh, because you can change the rhythm and you can do this and you can do that. Okay, cool. I bought two, actually bought both, and they sat in a box. And I was like, I understand the output, but it's not helping me understand the pain. So then I went to YouTube and I started doing research on both of the pumps, and you came up.
Yep, we're there a lot.
So I watched your comparison videos, and you said something that was profound. You don't need a dual pump if you have the right flange. It's going to do what you need it to do. Just make sure it's what you actually need. What do you mean the right flange? Okay, hold on. So then I went on a different search. I think that night I stayed up till about 4 a.m. and I watched every video you had ever did.
That's a lot. You're amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I went through, I think I actually saw you changing your videos.
Yeah, I cut my hair short and then I grew it back out.
The
And
change in your videos, like, is this old? This has to be old. Never mind. So
that's
I reached out. I sent you an email, and I think the email literally just said, help. Help
they
me.
always do. Yep.
Help me, please.
Mhm.
I remember getting the message to interview, and I was like, interview? And it was, this program is not for everyone. Oh no, but I need it to be for me though. Help me.
Yeah.
I need it to be for me though. I remember talking to the woman who interviewed me and was very reserved in what I said, simply because at that point I had been in I was walking to what I didn't know was about to be a traumatic event with my son.
Mm.
But I had just put him on formula per the direction of the doctor. Um, but I remember, mm, I remember talking to her and going, you don't understand how bad I need this. I just put my son on formula and I can't, like, I am finna cry right now because I remember that feeling.
Mhm.
I can't have my son on formula. I don't believe in it. You can't tell me my body can do something that a powder is doing. I have to do this. She gave me the number, and I was like, oh God, oh Jesus, that's how much it costs. All right, God. So I got to do, and I was like, it's fine. What's the number? Okay, cool. I reached out to you. I started my course. I did the course. I jumped around the course. I reached out and was like, I'm overwhelmed. Help me. I have new pumps that are in a box because I don't know what to do. I'm using an old pump. I don't know what to do. My son is drinking formula. I don't know what to do. And I think before you could message me, we were in the hospital for 5 days. with my son because the doctor told me that if my son did not gain weight, and at this point he was 4 months old, he was 5 months actually, because that February would have been his 6 month checkup. It was January. If by his next appointment, if he came into this appointment and had not gained weight, she was going to call CPS on me. I saw my life shatter. I could not fathom the fact that I have a master's degree in criminal justice and I'm about to have CPS in my life at 37 years old. Make it make sense. I've done everything you had told me to do. I've pumped, I've fed, I've been at every appointment, and my husband had been in every appointment, did not miss one beat of an appointment. Left work, came late. It didn't matter. My husband was at every, but that particular appointment, he was not. And we made an escape plan. As serious as that was, we were going to flee the country with our son because I could not fathom someone telling me that I was not taking care of my kid properly. It did not make sense. He was admitted. He stayed in the hospital for 5 days. And I remember clear as day looking at the doctor's face, and she was flabbergasted when I told her, basically, if I can't get this under control when I go back to the doctor, she's going to call CPS. She looked at me like a deer in headlights and said, hold on. I have asked you question after question about the feeding, the time, the poop, and you have spot on every time answered that question. Most women can't do that. She was like, don't get me wrong. You got an app and you're charting, baby. You know, that app was my life. I charted.
I know.
I charted.
I looked at it. It was very thorough.
The poop, milk, drink, sleep, bath. I charted, but you could never say I didn't know. Because if you asked me a question about my son, I was going to know the answer. If you wanted to know the last time he pooped, I could tell you what it looked like, what time it was, what the diaper felt like. Shelley, why? Because. But that was traumatic. And I remember talking to you going, I'm about to lose my son. I cannot fathom the fact that I'm about to lose my son. I worked this hard to have him, and I'm about to lose him. Help me. Allison, help me. And I think I even cried. That was like
it was rough.
ugly.
It was a bad spot to be in. It was hard for you.
Like ugly cry when we had that meeting. And I remember going, oh crap, that's recorded and everybody can see it. But
yeah,
it was real. And that, I think that's the part of the birth, being a mom, that no one told me. So it was like, oh, I'm going to be a mom. Am I though? So we got through it. You helped me size my flanges to the correct size because I was nowhere near a 22 or a 24.
Nope.
I was all the way down to a 17 and a 19, and actually 2 different sizes. I am not the correct size as the box has. I'm not the correct size. It's 2 come in 1 pack. So I had to buy a 17 and I had to buy a 19 because one side was a 19 and the other side was a 17. We scaled, I opened a month later my Spectra, and we found a setting that worked. And we learned that my breast capacity was humongous. That Shelley, you can store a lot of milk. You are pumping. I think we even at one point were doing the sock. I was doing the sock thing of I can't see this milk. I cannot, because I'm not doing it. And I remember that face, that one right there. That face you're making right there. That's the one. Y'all look at that face. That is the face.
Like I had to call you out more than once, Shelley, on saying, let's do the math here. Because you think you're not doing it and you're doing it.
My husband.
Oh, your sweet husband. I'm so glad you brought him up because I love him. This is like what all husbands of pumping mothers should be, is Miss Shelley's husband right here. So tell us about him.
Mr. Harris, Stephon Harris. I never felt I was a woman that deserved this life. Do I deserve happiness? No, I deserve whatever God has for me. That may not be happiness, but then I met my husband. And it was like profound at the fact of how attentive he is to minute things. Um, his theory was, it still is, I can't carry that baby. I can't experience what you experience. I can't put my body through what your body went through. Don't get me wrong. I gained all the weight while you were pregnant, but I didn't push a baby. I can't produce milk. I can't physically see my insides outside. I can't. But what I can is wash a bottle. What I can is run a bath. What I can is pack a diaper bag. What I can is drive Miss Daisy wherever she wants to go. What I can is make sure your hair looks good, because what you're not going to do is walk past the mirror and look at yourself and go, no. What I can is make sure that you can sustain the life of our child however that makes sense to you. And it didn't make sense when he said it, because I understood washing bottles. I understood taking him so that I could take a bath, but I didn't understand my hair. What does that have to do with anything? It's my hair. I'll throw it in a ponytail. No, because before you became Dash's mom, you were Shelley, and Shelley looked a certain way. Just because you're Dash's mom don't mean you don't look that way anymore. So go get your hair done. Go sit back. Take a nap. Read a book. Stop looking at me and your son. And he would physically come take our son out of my hands.
He did a lot of the milk tracking and storage and stuff too. Like I
Oh,
remember
did he
one
not?
time he like saved our bacon because we thought you were thinking there wasn't enough milk. I don't know. I don't know if you remember that story, but I remember it really vividly. Him just kind of, I don't know. He did so much with the milk and the pumping part too.
So what he would do was I would pump. And after I would pump, because I was latching at the same time, he would take it and fill a jar. We were doing the mason jar method, just pouring it all in a mason jar. So he would take it and he would store it. And then he got to a point of just bagging it, because I'd get so far behind, and he would bag it and put it in the freezer. And then while we were going through that whole transition of me not making milk because of my flanges or not having the right pump, I was like, I don't have enough milk for our son. I don't know what I'm going to do. And he was like, what? I was like, I'm not making it. It's not there. What are we going to do? Go to the freezer, Shelley. And do what? And he walked me to the freezer, and there was this stash. When did this happen? He was like, a week ago, actually. I'm sorry, what? He's like, look at the date. You did all of that last week.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, it wasn't happening. I couldn't see the I couldn't see the milk production.
I remember you came to me and we were looking at like some increasing your supply. You had low
Mm-hmm.
supply or in
Mm-hmm.
fact perceived low supply. It wasn't actually low. And we were working on this stuff and you're like, I need
Keep
30
doing
ounces
is
a day.
diminishing the fact that I had low supply. My supply was low.
It was this moment though when you were like, I need 30 ounces a day because that's what Dash is eating. And your husband was like, Shelley, you make 30 ounces a day. That's how much I put in the fridge every day. And you were like, oh, I guess I'm doing it. It was
I
so
remember like
funny.
arguing him to the death. No, because if I did, I
Mhm.
would see it. And he was like, okay, cool.
It
You
was
go
so
pour it all in the jar then.
funny.
And he literally had the Modelo bottles, bags, all of it just in the refrigerator. He's like, you pour it in a jar. I'm just pouring. Hey, I need another jar. He no.
It's like,
No.
whoa, that's so weird.
Yeah.
It was crazy because we had been working. You had low supply when you came to me, right? You worked really hard to get it up, and we were like doing the stuff, and then it was good for a while, but then you kind of thought it backtracked, but really, it was there. We just had to like run the numbers, and I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Your partner. Mr. Harris is amazing. And I wish that all pumping moms had partners that were so invested in it with you because he is
You see your
awesome.
text? Okay. Check your text
He
message.
walked in and he's like, they're talking about me. I knew it. But it's hard. And I think this is one of the biggest hang-up that women have with when they don't join our program is they can't get their partners on board. And I don't know about you, Shelley, but like, were you open with the struggles and stuff that you were having? Because I feel like a lot of women are not sharing that with their partners. So when they say, hey, I want to invest in this help and program, they're like, that's a lot of money. No way. But they just opened up their heart to me and said, I'm struggling. I can't do this. I'm failing. I'm crying like you were in the beginning. I don't know. Where's that
No,
disconnect?
no, I did not speak to him. And that's what I mean when I say he's in tune, because I wasn't talking to him. There was no real conversation with him and I about what I was going through, because again, you can't go through this. So me talking to you about it does what? I remember coming to him and saying, I've been doing this research, I've been talking to different people, this is where I've landed, this is the information that I've sought out. I had actually did my interview and then told the person who interviewed me of, I'm not making a decision until I go talk to my husband. She said, rightfully so. It's a lot of money. I understand. Brought him in. He asked questions. His questions probably to me sounded like what every other husband would have said. Why? What is it that you can do? How can you help? Are you coming? What is happening? Why is it so much?
Mhm.
And then we learned that it was going to benefit. And it was more so of a, you got to let me try. If it fails, it fails. Did we lose that money? Sure. But you got to let me try. And afterwards, it was a success. And then we started talking. So I think being able to put my shame aside and being able to verbalize where I was struggling allowed me to talk to him so that I could, because my husband's very analytical, like, logic all day. But being able to tell him engineering wise what it was made a difference.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
amazing what support can do for you. And not everyone has a husband like yours, but this program is an investment, right? What kind of brought
Yes.
you to our space and realizing that this was kind of where you wanted to land?
So for me, I think it was that you were touchable. I think if I can remember the feeling, it was because I could touch you. Everyone else was kind of like, get on my calendar, I'll schedule time. And for you, it was just send me a message. I can't make that any more clear. Just send me a message. And it was in detail, like it was personal. But it wasn't private, which was weird at first, honestly, because of the things we talk about now. I was like,
In the
I don't
group-based
know.
community, yeah,
Yes,
it is
I was.
very different from how most lactation
It is
consultants
very
are
much.
serving people.
Um, but though I had only met everyone else on our Zooms, I knew everyone's story. I knew everyone's struggle. I knew I wasn't alone. Just reading it, I knew that I wasn't going crazy by myself. So I think once I was in the program, it gave me a realistic view of there is someone that I don't have a relationship with, don't know me from Adam if I walk past her, that cares about what I'm going through, that that I matter to. And I mean I spoke to you about this prior to starting the recording that as a Black woman, it's hard for me because I don't have the resources that other cultures have. I don't have the, I think resources would be the best, but I don't have that at my fingertips to say, oh, I can go here or I can go there or I have this or I don't. As a Black woman, I get what's given to me. And anything outside of that, I have to go seek. So for me, I tend to go toward my people. I want someone who's going to understand that I'm a Black woman and what I'm struggling through. Help me. And the three before you were all that color and all failed me. And it was like, how? How? Make it make sense. I don't specialize in pumping. I don't specialize in breastfeeding. I am too busy, but I need help. So for me and your group, it was at my fingertips. I continued to watch your YouTube channel, but I was also in the program. So I had someone I could speak to, and not just you, there were other women going through it.
You bet.
So we spoke to each other. We helped each other. And again, outside of one who I'm waiting on our party, but if they walked past me today, I wouldn't know who they were.
Yeah.
But we were there. And if I wanted to log back in right now, I could, because it's a lifetime commitment that you have given me. Granted, I'm not having no more kids. So Allison, I love
Yeah.
you.
But we did our time and we're done. Yep.
um,
Yeah.
but I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. It's,
Or,
I can't speak to your experience, obviously, because I'm sitting over here as a white woman, but I know that there are things that you want to be served by someone that looks like you. And again, I don't think the color of the skin and your bad experiences like had anything to do with that. Lactation consultants are not trained in pumping. We get zero train
agree.
regardless of who you are. And so it's so important that you find someone that can do what you're doing. And this is again why we keep our programs so specific. We only serve working moms who are trying to pump for their babies. A lot of times they're also combo feeding at the breast. And if I remember right, you were a little bit too, but
Mm-hmm.
like we specialize in pumping support. And
Yes.
I just responded to an email before we started of a stay-at-home mom who was like, I need some pumping help, and I'm like, I would love nothing more than to help you and serve you and give you everything. But there's a reason why we've created this program with a very specific, because of everything you just said, that
Mm-hmm.
just, there's a community and there's people that look like you in this community. And we
Yep.
are all working moms who are pumping for our babies. And although every story is
Absolutely.
different, they're a lot the same.
They
And
are. I
it,
remember the first night Dash was in the hospital, his night nurse walked in, sweet girl. But I could tell by looking at her face there was something wrong. And it was like, okay, well, he was there 5 days. So by that next night, she said, yesterday was actually my first day back. My son is actually the same age as yours.
mm,
And she was like, I walk in and I see your son, and he's literally the same age as my son. He's in this hospital and I'm away from my child. I am struggling right now. And she's like, but I'm having to pump and I don't know what I'm doing. And it was like, hey, I got a YouTube you should watch.
oh, you're so awesome. Yeah.
But I've heard that repeatedly, even this job that I just started. I'm co-workers with the husband, and the wife is a teacher.
Mm,
And he's like, she's struggling.
it's hard.
And I'm like, hey, I got a YouTube you should watch.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's hard. It's so hard when you wanna be there for your kid. It's hard enough that you're away from them, but you still gotta feed them like they're there. And your mental is going, I wanna be at home with my kid, but I gotta pay rent, mortgage, lights, gas. So I have to
Mhm,
go to work. And I think that even in that dynamic, the program still helped with that mentally as well.
mhm.
Because I remember, what was it, every Wednesday we would meet?
Yep. Mhm.
Um, and there were women at work in their office pumping. I remember the camera sitting right here and you're going, Shelley, you need to pump. What you mean?
I was like,
Right
we
now,
talked about a pumping schedule and it's time. So you better, and you were like, I'm doing
you
it.
better go pump. It's like, I'm doing it. I did it. I set this up. Um,
So funny.
but every pump was different for every person. And I
Mhm,
think what was beautiful, to speak solely to the program, was you were not pushing one pump. That
mhm,
was never your aim. Get the pump that satisfies you. Get it for whatever reason works for you, but know it's going to work for you. I don't have any problem against Mandela. I think when it worked, it was great. I used it for 3 months with no issues, but then when it didn't work anymore, it didn't work anymore, and it was time to do something else. And then I went to the spectrum, and my settings worked until they didn't. And then I changed my settings. I remember being on like the highest setting, and you were going, Shelley, you okay? It's like the
Something
highest
else
setting.
isn't quite right. Yeah.
You sure? And I was like, okay. And then it just didn't. And it was like, okay, this hurts. Hold on. But for you, it wasn't about this is the pump. This is what you need. This is what you have to have. No, it was your situation is unique, and let's talk about it. Because in my son's 13 years, he's hopped 2 countries and 6 states, and pumping was a part of that. So I was pumping on vacation. I was pumping in different places. If I may, I want to talk about the ugly side of it.
Sure.
I was banned to bathrooms. I was shamed at restaurants. I was looked at like, I can't believe you. I remember this new job I got. They were like, well, we don't have the pumping room ready, but the restroom. Did you just tell me to go in the restaurant? Did you? Let's explore that. You informed me to make milk that I'm going to have my son drink in a place where people expel bodily fluids.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you thought about that, huh?
No thanks. You go eat your lunch in there and see how that tastes.
You're okay with that.
Yeah.
But it's the ugly side of doing it. And it's beautiful. Pumping and feeding your child is beautiful. I think the sides of it that's hard is when you're struggling to make the milk, you're away from your child, you are mentally exhausted, your body is exhausted, and you got all this, and you're a brand new mom, a first time mom. And let me use that very sparingly because I had someone say it to me. You are Dash's mom. And if you have another child, you'll be that child's mom. But that child is not Dash. So what you experience with that child still makes you a first time mom with the new child because that one comes out with a different attitude, different mindset. Listen,
Isn't that the truth? Oh my word.
Allison, you have seen my child, which you have just
Oh,
seen my husband. So by default, you've seen my child because my son looks exactly like his father.
he does. He is.
However,
Hmm.
that attitude is mine.
Yeah, I would say that too.
Ooh, that's my attitude all day. And I
So
seriously have to look at him and go, ooh, okay. It's gonna be long. I love you though.
I know it.
So don't beat yourself up, ladies. Don't do it. It's not worth it. And again, I can look back now and laugh about it, but it was real then. It was a multiple of times I reached out to you going, help,
Hmm.
help. Shelley, what's wrong? I don't know. Today, I don't know. Yesterday I was okay. Today, no. I don't know. What are you struggling with? I don't know, Allison.
Gotta break it down. Yeah. I think you hit on a really important point here is that you're just like looking back on your journey, like I've been there for a lot of it, and it changed so much, which is one of the reasons why people will say, I just need a consult, I just need help picking a pump, or like one time thing. And I'm like, I get that you have questions now, but you're gonna have more questions in a month, and then the next month when you start traveling, or you quit your job like
Yes.
Shelley did, or you,
Yes.
and then you get a new
Yes.
job, and then
Yes.
it just,
I
it's a lot.
I think if I could give y'all a rundown, I was working. I stopped working. I went on maternity leave. I came back. I was at home for a month because we were hybrid. So 1 month in the office, 1 month out. So my first month back, I was at home. Everything was fine. Well, the month back was when I spent that time in the hospital with my son. So I didn't go back to the office. The next month, because I knew I had made a decision at that point, February, I was going to leave. I went into the office in February to give that person an extra month at home because they were in the office during the month I was there because I was leaving. March, I left. from March to August, I was a stay-at-home.
Mhm.
But I was working for my house. So trying to maintain my son, trying to maintain my husband, cleaning, cooking, traveling, running bills, and I still am an entrepreneur. Getting orders. We were traveling a lot. And then August, this opportunity kind of just fell in my lap, and I went, well, I guess it's time to go back to work. And then I went back to work.
Yep.
Oh, God.
And all of these
Oh, I went back to
transitions
work
we had to work through together because it was just like a whole new thing. And you would not
every
have
time.
known that at the beginning. Like
No,
when you talked with
no.
our sales, our enrollment coach, you said like,
Yep.
here's where I'm at and I need help. But had you known that your journey was going to be like crazy, I mean, again, this is why I really like working with moms long term. Like you're gonna have stuff come up and I want to be there. I don't want you to have to worry about another $200 appointment that you got to make,
Yes.
or who do I now I got to find someone on top of everything else
Yes.
I'm juggling. I want
Yes.
you to know exactly where to go. You already made your
Mhm.
one-time investment, so there is no extra cost. Come and get help with someone that you know knows you and cares about you and can help you with what you're doing.
I think the one thing that I can tell to anyone who would join now is when you look at Allison, and Allison, this is your O to you, she doesn't look touchable. She looks like this figure that it's like I would never actually meet her. I would never actually know her. She's just this person. I think if I would compare it to like Miss Rachel, I feel like I watch every Miss Rachel there is to
Oh,
watch with my son.
I'm gonna start
But it's
calling myself Miss Allison. That's so
but
funny.
it's like I would never. I think it was one of those like I would never meet Miss Rachel, but I've seen her shows. That was Allison for me. And then when I joined the program, it still felt like I wouldn't meet her or be in tune with her because the first thing was go do your course. And it was like, but I need help. But what I didn't realize is I'm trying to touch this person and she's already given me everything that I need. It's right here. Go look at it. And I remember fighting that for like a week. Like, no, help me.
Yeah.
And everyone just kept replying, have you looked at the course?
The
Okay, let
help
me go
is
look at
there. You just have to do it. You just have
it.
to.
Look at it. And I
Yeah.
think by the time she replied, like, Shelley, girl, I don't need your help no more.
I
Reading my
already got
course.
it. You already helped me over here.
Help me, girl, move. I'm reading my course.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
then I built a relationship with Allison, and she's no longer the YouTube star. She's my coach. She's my friend. I know that if I, oh, God forbid, do have another
Knock on
kid,
wood.
all of it, y'all, I can call her. Like Allison, oh, guess what?
Mhm.
I think honestly, if I called her after this, she's gonna be like, oh gosh, Shelley. Oh no,
Here we
oh
go
no,
again.
here we go.
I love
But
it.
I actually have a friend. I have support. I have someone that I didn't feel like a number with, that I don't feel like took my money and just was like, here's my course. Good luck. When there were questions in the course that I didn't understand. Hey, you said this, but this is happening opposite over here. How would that work? Oh, this. Oh, okay. I think that aha moment happened for me when I was traveling because we did a train trip across the country for
I
15
remember.
days.
Hmm.
And I was like, Allison, I'm on vacation. I can't stop every few hours and pump. What am I doing? You're telling me to stay, keep pumping, don't cold turkey, keep pump. How? How am I supposed to do this? And you were like, Shelley, I remember you laughing at me, and I was like, is she laughing? Is it funny? I'm in
Only
pain
because
right
you're
now.
you, and we were so
Right.
like together at that point that
I'm
I'm like,
dramatic, y'all.
Shelley.
I'm so dramatic. I'm so
I don't
dramatic.
laugh at a lot of clients, but you,
No,
I was
but
like,
she
girl,
literally was.
no, we're not doing this. Hmm.
Like, and the next word out of her mouth was like a light bulb for me. She said, Shelley, You know that your breast can hold the amount of milk you need. You don't have to pump every 4 to 6 hours like most women do. You can go longer. Go longer. But no, if I don't, you're gonna what, Shelley? I don't know. Just then
We
calm
already
down.
tested and proven this in the past, like, come on.
We
We're meant.
prepared you for the trip.
Yep. Mhm.
Oh, well, I'm gonna go enjoy my vacation now. Goodbye.
Yep.
I honestly believe that Allison would get off of the lives with me and go, oh Jesus. This, okay.
It's my
But it
job
was
though. And what you said really, I get this a lot because you watch people on YouTube and stuff and they have this like mini celebrity status. It's weird. Even I do that with people that I watch and like my business coach is on YouTube. I remember thinking that same thing and now I know her and we're friends, but you got to remember like I'm a working mom just like you and I am no different than you other than I have a camera and I put crap online, and like
yeah,
so it just it I'm in it with you and I've done
yeah,
this too and I failed too and I know that you guys are juggling a lot. So it's my job to be that rock for you, I'm past that phase. My youngest is 3 and I'm no longer lactating, but it's my job to be that rock so that when you have your little crazy moment that you can come to someone who can say, well, what do we know and what has worked in
right.
the past for
Just,
you and how do we move forward? Mhm.
I think it is the guys, and I think I had heard you say this to someone else. Stop comparing yourself to someone else.
Mhm.
It's you. You are that child's mom, not her, not this person. I remember it profoundly. We were in a meeting and I was waiting on my turn. And you were talking to a young lady from a different country, and she was struggling with feeding, and her output was very low. I think if I remember, she was making maybe 2 ounces in her 20 minutes.
Mhm.
Well, then you switch to me, which when you join the program, you will know you don't have to leave the live when your time is, you can talk amongst each other. And she didn't leave. She turned her camera off and you start talking to me. And you were like, Shelley, what are you at 6'8" per breast now? How are you doing? Da, 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 da. And I remember her going, wow, I
Mhm.
can't do that. And you were like, because she's different. Don't compare yourself to her. Because guess what you need to know about Shelley? That is not enough for her. The same feeling you feel at your 2 is the same she feels at her 6. Don't compare yourself because the feeling is the same across the board. And you were so right. Even though I was making 6, that wasn't enough for me. I have to make more. My son is eating 30 ounces. I should make 30 ounces in one sitting. Like, okay. But everyone was so on the same and doing so much different. And we were all just like looking at each other going, I wish I could be you. No, I wish I could be you. No, I wish I could be you. And you were like, stop it, all of y'all. What is wrong with y'all? For y'all.
The grass is
Be
always
you.
greener on the other side with more milk.
Be
The grass is
you.
always greener. No,
Right. But
it's not.
be you. And I think that when we finally all kind of just got that, it kind of just worked. Like, just because you don't have a stash don't mean you're failing. Just because you're not producing 6 to 8 don't mean you're failing. Is your son, is your daughter growing? Are they healthy? Are they? And I think for me, the trigger is no, he's not. He's in the hospital. And you're like, well, well,
Let's back up.
well,
What do we know? And how do
right.
we move forward?
Yeah. I'm going to tell y'all,
This was my mantra
she's
to
going
you.
to be, listen, I'm going to tell y'all,
Mm.
that voice of reason and that very soft tone is going to bother you. It's going to bother you. It's going to eat you. It did me. It's going to,
Shelley.
Shelley, what do we know? What are we doing?
Mhm.
Allison, we don't know nothing. We're not doing nothing. But it's great and it's a benefit. And I know, talking to you moms, I know that number is high when you hear it, but I guarantee that is a number that you will spend twice. How do I know? Because I'm doing it. I'm just waiting on Allison. Because I believe in the program so wholeheartedly, I'm willing to spend it for someone else who can't afford it. Because at the end of the day, She helped me. It's only right that I help somebody else who can't. And I'm in the position too, so I'm going to, but take it, take the help. Even though she don't look like you. Oh, even though I think right now we look like twins.
Yeah,
So my
we're on
glasses
the
on.
same. Yeah,
Okay.
it's identical, identical.
Right. See, I just have my glasses on.
Oh, so funny.
But the help is there. It don't matter who it comes from. If the help is there, take it, use it, apply it, and then bless somebody else. Because that's what she was to me. Helped me not flee this country, helped me keep my son, helped me make sure that I didn't feel like a failing because I'm almost 40 with a 1 year old. What do I look like, y'all? 40 with a 1 year old. But I knew that this is what I wanted. I just needed help, and Allison did that for me.
So tell us where you ended. Tell us about your goal. Did you hit it? Tell us about that, what that felt like.
So my goal was to pump and feed for 13 months. My my plan was I wanted to breastfeed until he was 13 and then empty my supply out of my freezer after that time frame, which would have been about 6 months. I semi made that go. I pumped until he was 12, and then I fed out of the freezer after his 12th birthday, 12-month birthday. I think right now there's 1 pack left, if that. But I met my goal. I remember Allison even saying to me, Shelley, you can stop early if you want to. You have the freezer stash. You can stop. No, this is the goal. And she's like, if that's the goal, we going for the goal then. I remember you giving me an out. And I'm like, no, I said this is what I was doing. And you said, okay. I did. I pumped literally up until his birthday, the week before his birthday. And then his birthday party was like the Saturday before, and that was my last full like consistent pumping, and I started to dwindle to his birthday. But I made it. I look back on that ride, and it was not a straight line. There were mountains and hills and valleys, and I think at some point we got in a plane, and then a train, and then
Yeah,
and then on
we
the
did.
sea. We wrote it, but she held my hand at every twist turn. And though you hear me joke about how much she's like, Shelley, you damn dramatic, it was real because it's that friend that can go to you and be like, I'm not gonna play with you. But she held my hand at every crazy turn, every mad, no, I'm not doing it. At every, Shelley, yes, you are. She held my hand. And now I'm good. I'm still randomly leaking milk. Why? I don't know. I wish that would stop. But my son almost did get an earache, and I dropped some breast milk in there, and he's good now.
That's the magic, my friends.
Thanks.
That's why we do this. Yeah.
Right. So there's a goal. I met it. I'm proud of myself, but it was a long, hard road getting there.
You're not alone. Almost everyone feels this way. It doesn't end up where you look. And sometimes we got to readjust expectations, you know?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, for you and your situation, hitting that 12-month was where it needed to be. And I remember like 3 weeks before that, you had already told me like, I'm going to commit, help me commit to this last bit. And you were like, I think I'm just going to be done. And I was like, no, you're not, because you told me last week you wanted this and you're 3 weeks, like we can do this. And
I remember trying to tap out like, you were like, no, come on.
You're not going to let 3 weeks sully this
right.
this feeling for the rest of your life, you know?
You literally said to me, would you be upset if you look back and were upset about those 3 weeks? Would it upset you? Yes. Then we're not stopping. Okay. All right. All right, let's go.
My conversation is different with other moms, like you said, because everyone is different. We just had a mom who was like 5 months old, really struggling with some mental health stuff, had to get on some heavy medication, and decided that she needed to be done for her reasons. And that conversation was very different. But having someone, a professional, say you are still a good mom, and this is your journey, and this I approve. Not that you need my approval, but for some reason, just having someone to talk with you to either say, you're here and we're done and it's okay, or Shelley, knock it off and pump for 3 more weeks, you
Yeah.
know, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
to me what you
Yeah.
do or what you do, but I want you to feel good about it and
Yeah.
to be able at the end of the day to say, I did everything I could. I hired an expert who knew me and loved me and cared about me,
Yes.
and I can feel good and look back on this with positive feelings. That's my goal. And I'm glad that you felt that way, even though I had to call you out a couple times, but you know.
I'm glad you're just gonna say a couple because that just sounds
Yeah.
like two, not two every other week for 7 months. Because that sounds bad.
But that's
But
apparently
thank
what you
you.
needed. And
It
this is
it
my
was.
job, is to help
It
you
was.
help yourself. And I think that's the overall goal is we've got a curriculum there that's waiting for you to
Yes.
help you help yourself. I don't want you to have to always rely on when's the next group call? I got to ask Allison. Like, and I'm not the only expert in
Yeah.
there now. We've got more IBCLC pump experts in there too. But I want you to help yourself because it's so much more meaningful when you and for you, your partner, can do this together and figure things out. You take so much more pride in your journey, and that's really my goal for the working moms like you.
I would, I think I would like to add to that. You're saying there are more coaches now. I remember when you brought the first coach on, and I was like, "Where's Allison going? Oh my God, is she leaving? Oh my God, oh my God, I don't know this new person. You don't know me. You don't know what I've been through. Where's Allison? Allison, where are you at? Are you coming back?
I
No,
never
please."
left. You're
Didn't.
so funny.
I think it was like one day you were like late maybe to the live or the
Yeah, something
meeting,
like that.
and I was like, I should be replaced. What is happening? I can't, ma'am. I don't know you. I can't talk to you. I don't. Oh, hey, Allison. Take it, ladies. Just because it's not Allison, it might be someone else on the team. They're all amazing. I think even in the short time that I had the others that have been there, I've bonded with them. I've learned them, and they came in knowing who I was. So I think that that helped as well. It wasn't like, hey, I'm new. Let's all introduce ourselves. No, it was known who I was. Meeting new people makes that anxiety kind of rise because you're like, what I'm talking about is so personal, and I don't really have a relationship with this person. But when they come in knowing you and wanting to know you and being able to share their own experiences, and I think that that helps because I guess I kind of knew you before I knew you because I had watched all your YouTubes,
Yeah, for sure.
but this whole new person is like, oh, I don't know you. You don't know me. I've been through some things. Are you going to judge me? What? And this is embarrassing. But when they come in and they're like, let me tell you my story. And you're like, oh, but then, like you say, I'm a working mom too. And that keeps putting it back into perspective. Just because I got a camera in my face and I'm giving you advice, I am a working mom. I have failed. I have done the wrong things. I've tried the wrong things. I've done the wrong things. I'm telling you, you're going to do the wrong things. And I'm not going to per se stop you from doing the wrong things, but I'm going to help you when you do the wrong thing. Okay. And I think that that's what settles because there is shame and embarrassment in not being able to feed your child,
Sure.
but it's not a real shame and embarrassment. It's a perceived shame and embarrassment. And I think that that's what we can get over. There's no shame in needing help to sustain your child's life, but there is if you don't ask for the help.
I love it. Shelley, we could just talk all day.
We could, but we gotta give
I
these people
just
back their time.
I just want to say that it has been such a pleasure getting to know you and working with
Thank
you.
you.
And honestly, I feel honored to have been able to walk through so much of your story
Ugh.
with you. And you shared so much, um, not even like just here, but we've been through a lot together. And
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that you took the leap of faith to come and be with me and let me help you. And I know things didn't work out 100% like you expected, but they never do. And
Right.
it I don't know. It's been really fun, and I feel this deep connection, and which is why I love the way that we've built and structured our program is because I get to
Yes.
know you
Yeah.
better and to really be intimate and work with you and see you through the end of that goal. And this is not the end of our story together because we really have developed a quite
Oh,
a
yes,
bond.
ma'am.
But I love it, and
Absolutely.
thank you so much for sharing your story and for
Absolutely.
your advice and for helping other moms to join us and get the help that they need too. That's why we're here.
Please
We're
do.
all working moms
Please.
trying to help
Please.
each other.
I promise this is not Allison paying me, because I mean, if you want to pay me, Allison, never mind.
Yeah,
This is not
I'm about ready
Allison.
to hire you because you're like the best
This is
spokesperson
not
ever.
Allison saying I will
Oh
pay
my
you
goodness.
for your review. No, this is deep down from my heart saying, ladies, this help will help, and it's what you need if you want it. The program will only work if you work it. But when you work it, it's not just one kid. Again, if I have when somebody else has another one, they're going to be able to come back with this new kid. Take this help. Take this woman and use her. I know that sounded bad, but use her. She's a resource. She is going to be there for you. Because again, I've been gone now a month, two. How long have I been gone? A
About a
month.
month, yeah.
And I still am like, I'm gonna just jump back into the Zooms and see how y'all doing. All right, everybody good. All right, cool. But use her, use it. It's I plead with my heart, because again, I can't I can't give you the emotion in this segment for you to understand why that connection between her and I is so tight. I can tell you the story, but I can't make you understand that emotion. That emotion is something different because it was real when it was happening. And then as soon as it wasn't happening, something else was happening. So so it was like, okay, cool, we're going. Oh, here we go. So join the program, follow the videos, follow the course, ask the questions, and understand there is no dumb questions. And remember, you are not by yourself. Take that for
That's
what you want.
That's perfect. Shelley, thank you again so much for taking the time today to share your story and your thoughts. I loved it. There is going to be information, whether you're listening to this on the podcast or watching on YouTube or whatever, down in the description. You can learn some more about the program and even schedule a call with a member of my team and learn more. We can get you started and we can get you the help you need. So be like Shelley and hit your goal and feel awesome about it. you know, that's what
Yeah,
I
you
want.
do.
That's what I want for all of you. So thanks again, Shelley, and we'll talk soon. Bye.
Bye.